My brother, you were meant for something great. Let me say that again. You were created for something great, for something grand, for something magnificent. You were created by God. You were created in the image of God to fulfill a divine purpose, to fulfill a role in this universe, in this world that only you can fill. You were made to be great. And the only thing stopping you is your story. The story that you cyclically tell yourself. Because your story is what dictates your reality. Whenever you tell yourself the same story over and over and over again, that is what your RAS, your reticular activating system, is going to look for. You literally look for the things that are going to fulfill the story that you tell yourself. So if you're telling yourself, I am a failure, I am never going to succeed at this thing, your reticular activating system is literally going to find the things, the people, the places, the experiences to confirm that story so that you can create that self-fulfilling prophecy for yourself. And you are going to fulfill that story if you do not change your story. If you don't realize that you are a great, if you don't realize that you were created for something great, you are never going to fulfill that story. Because you must change your story if you want to change your life. I speak from experience, bro. For so long, I was stuck in stories from my childhood, stuck in stories from traumas that I went through. And one thing that I know you need to hear is that it's not your fault. It's not your fault, bro. I'm gonna say it again. It's not your fault that you experienced that trauma, that thing happened to you, that your father, your mother abused you, that you were abused by your siblings. It's not your fault. It's not your fault that your family members treated you that way. It's not your fault. But that doesn't change the fact that if you continue to tell yourself that story over and over and over again, it is going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy for the rest of your life. And while it's not your fault that it happened, it is your fault to take responsibility for it and change your story. Change the things that you tell yourself. If you want to change your story, if you want to change your life, change your story. Another thing, you must heal from those things. Realizing it is the first thing. And then asking yourself, does this serve me? Does this serve me and who I'm trying to become? Does this serve me in this other story that I want to create for myself? You have these dreams. You have this other story that's in your mind, but it's the same old story that keeps perpetuating itself over and over and over again because you can't let go of it. Because you don't realize that you're telling yourself this story over and over and over again. It is overlaying this new story that you want to create for yourself. It's overlaying it. It's cutting the other one out. You must realize that story, no matter how true it is, because it's true, it's true that you were abused. It's true that you didn't have the greatest upbringing. It's true that you were addicted to all of those things. They're not false. They are true stories. But do they serve you? Do they serve you and who you are trying to become now? Do they serve you in the story that you're trying to tell yourself now? You have to really get clear on whether they're serving you or not. Because if they're not serving you, you gotta let them go. You gotta let them go. Or else you're going to get to the end of your life and you're gonna be like, damn, I literally spent this entire life just so I could prove this story right. I sacrificed this entire life so that I could be right in this story, so that I could say, this story is why I wasn't able to go and achieve X. This story is why I wasn't able to become this. This story that I kept telling myself is the reason. It's the reason. And I'm not saying it's not true. I already said this. It is true. It is a true story. But that story is the one thing between you and your new story, which is your new life. If you want to change your life, change your story. So, what new story do you want for yourself? Who do you want to become? What new story do you want? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? What new story do you want to live out? What new story do you want to be telling your grandchildren whenever you're on your deathbed? What story is going to make you proud? You know, I don't think you'd be proud getting to your deathbed and your grandchildren are just sitting next to you like, grandfather, what are some stories? Well, I just lived out the same story over and over and over again, how I was a victim to all of this abuse and all of these unfortunate circumstances, and I just told that story over and over and over again, and that was somehow the story that I just kept perpetuating within my life, because that's what my reticular activating system, what I was searching for. I was searching for more things to fulfill that story. Or you could create a new vision. You could create a new life for yourself. That's the thing, bro. You don't have to find yourself. You don't have to find yourself. You are already yourself. You just have to create yourself. Create more of yourself. Like, what new story do you want? What new lifestyle do you want? What new relationships do you want? Like, a lot of these things, they're based around relationships. Like, the reason you can't find, not a lot of, like, it's a broad spectrum of, like, the stories that we tell ourselves. But one thing, actually, I'm gonna be real. I'm speaking for myself right now. A lot of the stories that I tell myself are based off of a relationship that, like, didn't work, a relationship that screwed me over, a relationship that just traumatized me. And that's the story that I've been playing on loop within my mind. And it's the story that I've been perpetuating. It's a true story. I did get traumatized as fuck during one of my relationships. But it's like, yo, that happened. That was... Let me ask you something. How old is the story you're telling yourself? My story happened like 2-3 years ago. And I'm still cyclically telling the same story. I've met people, like older people, where they're telling the same story from like 40-50 years ago. Like, you ever met like a Vietnam veteran and they're just like, that they immediately, like, one of the first things that they say is talking about the war, talking about the stories of the war, their war stories. It's because they are stuck in that story. It was such a traumatizing time in their life. It was such an emotionally impacting time in their life that is the story they are still selling, still telling. Because it made an emotional impact on them that they haven't been able to let go of yet. Whew. And that's the thing. The emotional impact. Your new story has to be emotional. It has to bring up emotions within yourself. You have to get excited about it. You have to get, like, emotionally attached to your new story, so that your old story, which is at an emotional level right here, is overpowered by your new story, which is now more exciting, more empowering than old story. You know, you have to emotionally overpower the old story, or else the old story is going to have power over the new story and the new life you're trying to create for yourself. What new story do you want? It's got to be emotional. It's got to be big. It's got to be powerful. I think a lot of the times we are turned away from trying to create some big vision for our life, to set big goals. Like, one, society. Society tries to dumb us down to bring our goals to a very low level to where we don't have high ambitions, to where we can just set these menial goals, work for someone else to achieve these goals, and just be content. You know what I mean? Be content with where we're at, you know? Also, you. That's number two. Number two is you. Your past experiences, your past stories, based off of the things that you tell yourself. The past mistakes that you've made that have an emotional impact right here. They prevent you from setting goals. Unless that goal is so fucking big, so exciting, so empowering that you're like, fuck those mistakes. I don't give a fuck about those mistakes. I am so emotionally attached to this goal that this is the new story that I am going to tell myself every single day. This new story is going to overpower this old story. Fuck the old story. The old story is in the past. That's not me anymore. I'm not going to tell that old story whenever I'm on my deathbed. You know? You have the chance to change that story now. Now. Why not? Why not change your fucking story? Ask yourself, what stories am I telling myself? Is this story serving me? No matter how true it is, is it serving me to continue to tell this story over and over and over again? And then, what new story do I want to replace this old story with? So that your RAS, your reticular activating system, can start to look for all of the people, all of the places, all of the experiences that are going to help you fulfill this new story, instead of just always looking for the same old shit all the time. You get it? Like, it's literally just replacing the past with the future in the now. You must do it now. It all happens now. So, now, what's your new story, brother? Replace the old with the new and do it now. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this one. I am going to have a blessed day today. I hope that you have a blessed day today. Share this with someone that you feel like needs to hear it. You know, like, the more that you help the people in your life, the more your life is going to improve, because those people are going to improve, which is going to improve your life. So share it with someone that you know needs to hear it. Leave a comment with what your new story is. What new story are you going to start telling yourself? What is your new story that is going to overpower your old story? So with that one, guys, I pray that you guys stay blessed, and adios.